boleh rekam. Unfortunately, different shades of this shameful sin continue to hit hard the Catholic Church. A couple of years back, the Catholic Church Global Organization of Nuns came out with sexual abuse of the priests, both diocesan and religious, on them. It had denounced with strong words the culture of silence and secrecy surrounding sexual abuse in the Catholic Church. Interestingly, the International Union of Superiors General, which represents more than 500,000 sisters around the world, urged nuns who have been abused to report the crimes to police and their superiors as soon as possible. They also assured helping the nuns who have been abused to find the courage to report it and pledged to help victims heal and seek justice. We all know that Pope Francis is very serious and committed to eradicating sexual scandal from all forms from the Catholic Church. For the first time in the history of the Church, Pope spoke directly to the 1.2 billion Catholics regarding sexual scandal through a letter dated 20th August 2018. The Pope condemned very strongly the atrocities of child sexual abuse and cover-ups by the clergy, describing the allegations against the Church as crimes that inflict deep wounds of pain and powerlessness in victims, their families, and the religious communities. He also begged for God's forgiveness for the open wound of child sexual abuse in Ireland as he visited the country in August 2018. Looking back to the past, no effort to beg pardon and to seek to repair the harm done will never be sufficient. Looking ahead to the future, no effort must be spared to create a culture able to prevent such situations from happening, but also to prevent the possibility of their being covered up perpetuated. The pain of the victims of their families is also our pain. And so it is urgent that we once more reaffirm our commitment to ensure the protection of minors and vulnerable adults. These words of Pope Francis in his letter on 20th August 2018 to the strong 1.2 billion Catholics should challenge and question all clergy and the consecrated persons. ICL, Institute of Consecrated Life, Sannyasa, being a unique and only institute in India, offering exclusively studies and research on the theology of consecrated life, thought that we should do something concrete to eradicate this menace from the face of India. Our institute cannot and should not remain silent spectators to this rampant menace. And here we are in creating awareness, educating clergy and consecrated persons, and proposing concrete constructive ways in gradually wiping out this menace and shame from the face of the earth. As we begin, I'm very happy to see that Rome has organized a wonderful opening ceremony for this course. Well, I was wondering, oh, this is very solemn, this is wonderful. Well, I think whatever be the solemnity that we are giving, that's fine because it's an important subject, an issue that we are going to deal with and which needs to be attended to. I wish that many more people would have been here in order to understand, to know about this issue, the problem. Because, as we know, that as Father Roy has already said, this is
involved. What is the relevance of this subject after all for us? Because I was very ignorant of what is happening around the world as well as in India. When I was somewhere defending that it's not a major problem at all, especially in India or in Asia. One of the professors cited to me the research matters, the research findings, or even the government itself, Indian government itself is telling around 53% of the children in India are sexually abused even before 15 to 18 years old. So that was very shocking. It was very difficult for me to accept that as a real reality. But from the time onwards, after I started studying about this marriage and looking into the news and research materials, it was fine. I was finding it as a truth, the reality that is rampant here, and in topics most of us are unaware. And it was a simple problem, we could have ignored it. But as we know, the impact of child sexual abuse is so huge that we need to really come up with solutions. We need to address this, especially as Catholic Church. And Catholic Church is taking a force initiative in all matters, in any matters of evil that is there in the society. We are very partners. Unfortunately, in this matter, church happened to be the problem in the wrong side. We are also accused of, many priests and religious are accused of being perpetrators of abuse. So that's why we need to come back to the other side, protecting and standing for the children and addressing this issue. So I think all religious and priests should be educated in this matter. We have only very representative few here, but I'm sure that you will be also people who will be there, out there, and advocates of safeguarding minors. Well, this is a huge problem. When I was in the Philippines, one young sister was teaching in the school, came to me and said, "Mother, I went to met a little child while she was taking a class. She was crying, and she called her later to her room and tried to speak to her. What was happening? What is that you were crying for in the class?" Then that little girl put a question to her. Why is he doing it to me? Why is he doing it to me? So it was a big surprise for this little sister who was just professor. We did not know what we all about. But she inquired and she came to know that this little girl's daddy was sexually abusing her. So she was trying to put it across to her in this terms. Why is he doing it to me? This is surprising. For her, for this sister, it was a bit. She did not know what to attend, how to tell, what to say also. So this is the situation for us. We are all in also. We don't know what if a case comes up, what we need to do. We are not prepared for anything. So this course is made available also in order to see what we can do for the victims of abuse. The church is today stating, don't be standing for the perpetrators there, protecting them, but rather address the victims, protect the victims, care for the victims. Victims first. That's a caption that the church is giving today to the programs that the church worldwide is conducting. So, this initiative is also as part of the Vegas. Like he said, we are collaborating with the efforts of the church in order to address this issue in our country, particularly in India. Also elsewhere, certainly we can be helped, we can be proliferating, we can be bringing out the information to the institute that took up as a very important thing for them to do was the Gregorian University in Rome, and we started the institute itself there in the name Protection of Children, but now it is renamed as Institute of Anthropology. So there is so much importance is given to that. We are collaborating with the institute in order to bring awareness on the problem wherever it is possible for us. So we are conducting this program here, and advising also including other participants also to do the online program that is conducted by the Gregorian University. They will be giving the modules every 2 weeks, and then we read through the materials and give the assignments and surveys, essentially the program that they are conducting. So those who are able to do that, participate in that is also wonderful to do. Anyway, today we have somebody, the president of our he is very well, what we can say, a knowledgeable person as regards this issue also, because he was in United States, so most of the problem came up, or the early information came up from USA, so he was right there, not as a perpetrator, but as somebody was watching all this, what to do. So he studied psychology also at that time, so I am sure he would be able to enlighten us on this issue, and presently working in Spain and all the problems. Recently you might have also heard about the problems that were emerging in France, or at least of course about the abuses in France and all that. So that seems so aspirational to say for the name of the church that is now. So Father will be able to speak to you, enlighten you more. So I have much more time now to tell things for 1 week fully there, so that I will do that.
Well, first of all, I would like to thank Father Robin and Sanyasa team for organizing this very important course, protection of minors and vulnerable adults. Father Robin and Father James have highlighted already the seriousness of this issue and how this has affected the church, is affecting the church, will affect the church. And therefore, I believe it is one of the important missions of Sannyasa, this Institute of Consecrated Life, to hold these kinds of courses and offer training so that we can prevent this problem in the future. So I would like to congratulate them for organizing this event, and also I would like to thank them for inviting me to be part of this program. It's a privilege and an honor. As Father Robin said, Robin and I have been friends for a very long time, but I must tell you, he might have been a better batsman, but I was a better all-rounder. Father James has been my formator too. Please don't blame him for how I turned out to be. And Sannyasa has always been like a second home to me as well. It's our institute, and it is always a pleasure to see how the institute is growing. And my dear friends, I am not going to speak about this issue of child abuse, because Father James, the resource person for this course, is going to spend the coming days explaining to you in detail about this. And he is the expert actually. He is the one who has learned about it, who is in a way licensed to teach about this program and to equip you with the skills for protecting the minors. I essentially would like to highlight 4 points in this brief reflection with you. In 2019, February, in the last week of February, 2 events were happening in Rome simultaneously. One was an encounter on the protection of minors, organized by the Vatican, and at the same time was happening a conquest on revolution of tenderness, the heart of Mary, organized by 3 congregations for whom the heart of Mary is part of their charismatic heritage. Claretians was one of them. Now, having these 2 events simultaneously in Rome created a problem because those who wanted to attend both couldn't attend both. But on the first day, there was an insight that was shared by our Superior General Matthew. Perhaps it is coincidental. He said it was coincidental. It was a providential coincidence that both were happening at the same time. Because the solution for any sort of abuse, especially of children and vulnerable adults, is to have a revolution of tenderness of the heart of Mary. Only if we look at the world, look at our children, look at our vulnerable adults through the heart of Mary, which is actually having revolutions of tenderness, only then we can actually end this abuse. In other words, the protection of minors will become possible when we let ourselves be formed in the image of the heart of Mary, which is all about tenderness. Tenderness of a mother. The church is in fact called to be a mother. We know that. The church is referred to as mother. And in that conference, in that encounter that was happening on protection of minors, there were so many sessions of reflections. Cardinals and bishops and priests, major superiors basically were sharing lots of insights about how to protect the minors. But one outstanding talk, an outstanding session was by a journalist by name Valentina Alasraki from Mexico. She had been a Vatican journalist for a Mexican TV since the last years of Pope Paul VI. You can imagine how many decades of coverage of the Vatican news that she has made. And therefore she had great credibility about the church, the life and mission of the church. And this lay woman stood up before the Pope, the cardinals, the superiors general who were there, and she said this: "My point of departure is motherhood. I have been accompanying the church during the papacy of all these 5 popes. And I tell you from my experience, you, the church, has failed as a mother." Because what does a mother do? What does a mother do? The mother cares for the weakest of children. The mother loves everybody equally. A mother cannot love everybody. But at the same time, when one particular child is weak, is vulnerable, the mother's attention will be all the more for that particular child. Not at the expense of other children. Mother gives food for everybody. But mother will give special food to this vulnerable sick child. Mother will spend more time tending to this child. You, the church, has failed to do this. And she said, you protected the strong children, the healthy children, and you simply forgot about the vulnerable children. And she said, that is why the world is angry. That is why the media is angry. not because his abuse is a particularly ecclesial problem. As we know now, and I'm sure Father James will give you the statistics, abuse happens everywhere. And very sadly, in families, also in public schools, in workplaces, everywhere this happens. But the world, the media, and everyone is so angry and upset when that happens within the church. First of all, because the church is supposed to be a moral voice in the world. And we betray that identity. And more importantly, the church is supposed to be a mother. And as a mother, we abandoned the weakest of children. So her invitation, Valentina's invitation, was that we must reclaim the identity of a mother. That tenderness of the heart of a mother. And care for primarily the weakest and the vulnerable children. Now the church's previous error was abandoning the victims. Now there is a potential danger now that we have become aware of this problem, we are committed to caring for the vulnerable. We can't deny this problem. We have this problem. We need to accept that. And now the church has accepted it. We have also initiatives like this for addressing the problem and protecting the victims. But we should also be careful not to go to the other extreme of abandoning and eliminating, scapegoating the perpetrators. I don't like that term. Because they are also our children. A decade ago, the Bishops' Conference of Canada, the Canadian Bishops' Conference, brought up a policy to deal with abuses. And the policy was titled, All Our Children. So what we should do, ideally as a mother, is to primarily and immediately respond to the issues of abuses by caring for the victims. They are our primary focus, immediate focus. And as a mother, we care for them. At the same time, we also must later, secondarily, look into those children who are causing this abuse. Because very often we find those who abuse have a history of having been abused. The abused tend to abuse others. So instead of condemning them, throwing them out, which is violence, which is against the gospel, we must also provide treatment opportunities so that they can repent, they can receive treatment, they can reform themselves. Because they are also children of the same mother. Today, at the Mass, the sister who was giving the introduction said, we should be inclusive because Christ was inclusive. And that is something, brothers and sisters, I want you to keep in mind. Let us respond to this problem by eliminating this problem. But let us be real. These problems might happen. How much ever we try to put in mechanisms to protect the minors, to reduce this problem, I don't know how long it will take to eliminate this issue. Incidents might still happen. And we also have policies and guidelines as to how to respond when these incidents happen. And our primary response should be to the victims. But let us also not forget those who cause this harm. Because somehow they are also hurting. It is when you are hurt that you hurt others. We need to care for them too. Because all are our children. Now to do this, to nurture a mother's heart, what exactly should we have? And that will be my final point. Let us create, we are dealing with protection of minors and vulnerable people who are vulnerable. To respond to vulnerability, what we need is to create certain vulnerability in our hearts. Like the heart of Mary. A vulnerability that enables enables us to be moved by the pains and sufferings of others. Let me end with this anecdote. In 2004, we had a great tsunami that killed thousands of people. A great tragedy. So when that happened, during an interview by a journalist of a Dutch geologist, a very famous geologist by name Gel Zeilinda de Boer, the journalist asked, "Don't you think this is disastrous, that these kind of earthquakes are happening, that it's a huge tragedy? Don't you think that God is cruel to allow these kinds of tragedies of such great magnitude?" And you know what this geologist Boer responded? He said, "If you take a long view of history, you may not see it as a tragedy. Of course it's a tragedy. Thousands, millions of people die. But keep a long view of history, long view of the world, you will understand it better." And this is what he said. Earthquakes happen because the heart of the earth is very fragile. The heart of the earth, the plates move. When the tectonic plates move, that is when these earthquakes happen. And he said, thank God there is fragility, vulnerability at the heart of the earth. Because of that fragility at the heart of the earth, these plates move. And when these plates move at the heart of the earth, it produces so much of magma. And this magma comes up to the surface with all the nutrients and water and oxygen that makes sustenance of life possible. Earthquakes reveal, the plate movements release so much of nutrients and gases that sustain life. In many planets there is no life possible because the core of those planets are so hard, nothing moves. There is no fragility at their heart. Life is not possible. And because the earth is fragile deep within, it is vulnerable, the movement happens, and this life becomes possible. It is our problem as human beings that we plan our cities in the wrong places, where this fragility is great. We put up big cities, and when this happens, what is happening even in India, all these floods and all those things happening, it is our mistake of wrong planning. We are not cooperating with the earth, we are abusing the earth. And this reflection comes in the context of a discussion about the need to have a heart that is vulnerable. When our heart is hardened, we don't respond to anything. Nothing is important for us. Again, back to today's gospel, we heard that the Pharisees were gazing at Jesus, watching Jesus. You can watch somebody with a hardened heart to criticize him, to find fault, to eliminate, to crucify. You can also watch others with a vulnerable heart to recognize the pains and sorrows of others and respond to that. Like Mary did at Cana. She watched and saw that the wine was running out. And with a vulnerable heart, she responded to the vulnerabilities of those people. And that is the tenderness of the heart of God that we should actually inherit as religious, as lay volunteers and lay apostles. So my dear brothers and sisters, this is my invitation to you. As you go through this course, listen to this course content with a certain vulnerability of heart, healthy vulnerability that produces tenderness like the heart of Mary, which makes our hearts into a mother's heart. Mother's heart is not just for women, it's for everybody, men as well. As consecrated men and women, we should always cultivate a mother's heart. So much so, we can fulfill what Gaudium et Spes of Vatican II invited us to become in number 1. And I end with that quotation. The joys and hopes, the griefs and anxieties of the men and women of this age, especially those who are poor, and in any way afflicted. These are the joys and hopes, the griefs and anxieties of the followers of Christ. This becomes possible when we cultivate the tenderness of heart of the heart of Mary, the vulnerability of the heart of a mother that responds to the joys and griefs and anxieties and hopes of the people of God.
In our institute, we are also publishing a series of books on consecrated life under the title Consecrated Life Series. So, Consecrated Life Series, book number 4 is Protection of Minors, Educating Priests, Religious and Laity. And Father James, during the time of lockdown and all, he was very active in writing books. Okay. So during that time, he wrote 3 books. One on leadership, another one on psycho-spiritual integration, and one on protection of minors, and the 4th one on formation is there in the press for So 4 books Father has written. And we congratulate him for
A warm and cherished morning to all. Our most valued invited guests, Reverend Father Paulson, Father Robin, our director, and our Father James, Father Davis, and my dear fathers, brothers, and sisters. It's my privilege to offer thanks on this special occasion. On behalf of Sanyasa family, I take this opportunity to express our sincere thanks to you, dear Father Paulson, for spending your precious time with us and for your enthusiastic and thought-provoking and inspiring message. And your presence today in this inaugural function has immensely enhanced its importance. Thank you, dear Father. A special mention to our inaugural director, Father Robin, who have inspired us to do our best and stands as a pillar of power. With deep sense of appreciation, we thank you, dear Father Robin, for your untiring efforts to make this program a success. On this auspicious day, we are really grateful to Father James, who is the resource person, and Father Devdas and the Sanyasa Institute for taking much effort in creating awareness and providing formation for the prevention such as child sexual abuse, safeguarding minors and vulnerable persons, and promoting prevention nurses, and also assisting in preparing guidelines for the child protection and eradicating the child abuse. We really appreciate you, dear CMF fathers, for seeing the need of the hour and having the new vision of preparing a world where minors and vulnerable persons are safer within the church and in the society. Thank you, dear Father.